Welcome dear students in Pharmaceutics first practical session. Myself Mrs. Darshana Sandeep Shinde from KKWIOP. Today we deals with the experiment number 45. Title of our experiment is to prepare, evaluate and submit 10 gram of Atropine Sulphate eye ointment IP. Learning outcomes of our today's session. After watching this video, students are able to develop the intellectual skill such as to understand the concept of ointment manufacturing using the aseptic technique, to understand the content of ointment mixing, and to develop some motor skills such as skill for measurement, skill for aseptic technique and sterile manufacturing, skill for ointment mixing and skill for filling. Then we see some new concept regarding this experiment. Atropine sulphate eye ointment is prepared by using the aseptic techniques like method of preparation of ointment base, sterilization of ointment base, then semi-solid mixing and incorporation of the active ingredients. Then we see the theory regarding the ophthalmic preparations. What are the ophthalmic preparation? Ophthalmic preparation include the steroid solution or suspension intended for the topical drop-wise installation in the eye, or a ointment for the topical application into the eye area. Let us see requirements for eye drops or it may be eye ointment also. It should be sterile. It is free from foreign particle to avoid the irritation to the skin. It is neutral one. It should be isotonic with the lacrimal secretion. Our lacrimal secretion pH is almost 7.4. That's why it should be isotonic with our lacrimal secretion. Then we see the formulation of eye drops, medicament, then preservatives. This should be also applicable to the ointment also. Preservative, a suitable preservative like phenyl mercuric nitrate, its concentration is 0.002% weight by volume, or benzalkonium chloride 0.1% weight by volume, then chlorhexidine acetate 0.01% weight by volume may be used to prevent the bacterial or the fungal growth. Then antioxidants. Eye drop usually contain substance having the antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, anesthetic and the myotic properties. When an active ingredient is susceptible to oxidative degradation, antioxidant may be added, but care should be taken to ensure compatibility between the antioxidant and other ingredient of the preparation. Then we see the next formulating agent, that is buffers. Ophthalmic preparation should be formulated at the pH equivalent to the tear fluid value of the 7.4. The buffer system selected should have a capacity adequate to maintain the pH between the stability range for the duration of the product shelf life. Also, it should not cause the stinging or discomfort on the installation. Example of its for the eye purpose phosphor buffers are preferred. Then tonicity contributors. Tonicity refers to the osmotic pressure exerted by the salt in an aqueous solution. An ophthalmic solution is isotonic when its tonicity equal to that of the 0.9% W by V sodium chloride. NaCl 0.9%, it is said to be the isotonic with our blood plasma. Then viscosity contributors. Ophthalmic solution and suspension may contain the viscosity, imparting polymer to thicken the tear film and increase the corneal contact time. That is to reduce the rate of the tear fluid drainage. For suspension, the increased viscosity also serves to reduce the settling particle between the use and at the same time maintain their suspension for uniform dosage. Example of its methyl cellulose, hydroxypropyl cellulose, hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose, hydroxyethyl cellulose and polyvinyl cellulose. That means viscosity contributors, they are increase the viscosity now in case of the suspensions to get increase the contact time with the cornea. Then we see the containers required for the eye drops. Eye drops are packed in a vertically fluted bottle made up of the neutral glass container or a plastic container. The bottles are fitted with the bakelite cap carrying a dropper. The bottle made up of neutral glass must be conform alkalinity limit test. Then bottle must not impart particle to contain, and the closure should not be absorb active constituent or preservative added to the eye drops. Then we see the eye drops sterilized by following method. Amongst that, if we sterilize or if we prepare the eye ointment should be filled in the tube, collapsible tube, or for the easy installation into the eye. Then eye drops are sterilized by apparatus use must be sterile, and filling in a final container is carried out aseptically. First method for the sterilization is sterilization carried out by the filtration by using the aseptic transfer. Then method is carried out, second method, sterilization is carried out in a container, final container, and autoclave it for 121 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes at the 15 lbs pressure. And method 3 is the 98 to 100 degrees Celsius for the 30 minutes in a final container along with the one substance, any other preservative specified in the individual monograph. These are the three methods which are used for the sterilization of the eye drops. Eye ointment is sterilized in the hot air oven. For that purpose we use the hot air oven. Then we see the labeling. Label should contain name of the drug, name and concentration of preservatives. Warning should be given, just like open the words for external use only should be added on the label, and in addition to this following instruction should be appear on the label, like use within 1 month after opening, do not touch the tip of the dropper, if irritation persists discontinue the use and consult the physician. All these labels should be must on the our final containers label. Then we see the apparatus required for today's experiment. These are volumetric cylinder, spatula, beaker, face mask, butter paper, hot air oven for sterilization of our ointment, mortar and pestle, ointment tubes, and crimping machine. Then we see the formulation table. Our formulation table should contain ingredient, quantity given, quantity taken and use. Our today's ingredients required for atropine sulphate ointment is atropine sulphate IP 1 gram and sterile ointment base, that's quantity is QS for the 100 grams. But today we only perform the 10 grams. For that purpose we calculate the factor. Factor can be calculated by quantity required upon quantity given. Its quantity is required is 10 and quantity given is 100. Our factor is 0.1. By this factor we can multiply quantity given, we ultimately get the quantity taken. That is 0.1 gram for the 10 gram of ointment. Atropine sulfate's use is a parasympatholytic or anticholinergic, and sterile ointment base is used as a ointment base. Then we see the formulation table required to prepare the sterile eye ointment base. Sterile eye ointment base can be calculated by using liquid paraffin, wool fat and yellow soft paraffin. This is for the 100 gram. We only prepare the 10 gram. For that purpose we again calculate the factor. Factor will be the 0.1 and we calculate the quantity required for the ointment base, and liquid paraffin 1 gram, wool fat 1 gram, yellow soft paraffin 8 gram. In this way we get the 10 gram of ointment base which is required for our 10 gram cream. Then we see the stepwise procedure before going to the actual laboratory session for our practical. We discuss about the stepwise procedure. Atropine sulfate ophthalmic ointment is a atropine sulfate in a suitable ointment base. It contains not less than 90% W by V and not more than 110% W by V of the labeled amount of atropine sulfate. These are the limits of the content of the atropine sulfate. It is sterile product, therefore aseptic techniques are used. Atropine sulfate is parasympatholytic, is used prior to ophthalmic examination or ophthalmic surgery. Yellow soft paraffin is used because it is unbleached and does not cause irritation of the eye. While making the eye preparation, we do not use the white soft paraffin. White soft paraffin can be prepared by bleaching the yellow soft paraffin. It should contain the bleaching agent. That's why we use the yellow soft paraffin. It does not contain the bleaching agent. The base has a property, or it should have a proper consistency. It should not be very hard and does not irritate the eye. While preparing the ophthalmic ointment, aseptic techniques are used. Melt together the wool fat, yellow soft paraffin and liquid paraffin. They filter the hot mixture through the coarse filter paper placed in the heated funnel. For that purpose, we should also heat the funnel also. Sterilize the base by heating at 150 degrees Celsius for 2 hours in a hot air oven. Then prepare the sterile solution of the ophthalmic sulfate or atropine sulfate in a small quantities of water for injection. Then triturate the solution with the melted base of eye ointment using the sterile mortar and pestle. Here we can use mortar and pestle sterile. For that we use the autoclave for sterilization of mortar and pestle, or we should use the under the laminar airflow we can sterilize the mortar and pestle also. Wet the empty sterile ointment tube. Fill the atropine sulfate ointment in a tube by using with the spatula. After filling, do not crimping of the tube form an end, and after filling we can do the crimping at the end of the tube. Category of our preparation is parasympatholytic or anticholinergic. Labeling instructions are mentioned on the label, like if irritation persists or increase, discontinue the use and consult the physician. Do not touch the tip of the dropper or the tip of the tube. It may contaminate the content. Use the preparation within the 4 weeks after opening the container. Then we move toward the laboratory. Welcome students in pharmaceutics first laboratory. Today we prepare the eye ointment. Experiment number 45. Let's see the apparatus and chemicals required for it. In the chemical section, we require the atropine sulfate and sterile eye ointment base. Sterile eye ointment base can be prepared by the yellow beeswax, lanolin and liquid paraffin. And this after the making of the sterile eye ointment base, we can add the atropine sulfate's water for injection into that, and finally our eye ointment is ready. This is the collapsible tube. This is the mortar and pestle. We sterilize it by the we sterilize the mortar and pestle by passing through it on a laminar airflow, and we start our procedure. This is the filtrating assembly. This is the filter paper. First of all, we prepare the sterile eye ointment base. For that purpose, we take a petri dish. We prepare the sterile eye ointment base. For that purpose, we take the 8 gram of yellow soft paraffin, then liquid paraffin 1 gram and 1 ml of liquid paraffin and 1 gram of lanolin. We take it into a one porcelain dish. Then this lanolin. While making the eye ointment, all area should be aseptic one. We done this all the area aseptic by washing this area through detergent and then wash it through the disinfectant also. Then heat it. Our liquid get melt one. Then we pour this sterile ointment base and filter it. Before that we can heat that filter. Then this filtrate, in this filtrate we sterilize this filtrate for 2 hours 150 degrees Celsius into the hot air oven. We place our sterile ointment base into the hot air oven and set the temperature 150 degrees Celsius for 2 hours. After 2 hours, we take our sterile ointment base from the hot air oven. See, this is our Atropine's water for injection. We can read it. We take the 1% of atropine and mix into this our WFI, and this is our Atropine's water for injection is ready. Then we add this water for injection 1% into our sterile eye ointment base with the continuous stirring. We can pour the solution of our sterile ointment base and water for injection solutions into the sterilized mortar and pestle and we triturate it continuously. See, our eye ointment is ready. We can fill it into this collapsible tube. For the filling of eye ointment filling machine can also be used, but in the laboratory scale we can fill the ointment into the collapsible tube by the simple method. That method is we take all our ointment base or ointment into this filter paper and all the ointment, roll this butter paper, take on collapsible tube, press it, so that our ointment get into this collapsible tube in a aseptic manner. Our ointment get into this collapsible tube. We can
tap it. Then now we seal this tube. For the sealing we can use the cramping machine also. We manually can also seal. See, take a spatula. In this way, we can fill the atropine ointment into the collapsible tube. We sealed it by manually. This is our collapsible tube and we fill the eye ointment. For observation and evaluation, we move toward the next session.
After go through the stepwise procedure, we move toward the observation and evaluation table. Observation and evaluation table, it contains the name of the preparation, test, specification and observation. Name of our today's preparation is Atropine Sulphate Eye Ointment IP. Test are description, it is clear one, we confirm that test. Then next test is odor, it is odorless, we confirm that test. Then next test is the particle, there are not any particle present in our preparation, we confirm that test. In this way we evaluate our preparation. Then we go through the next, that is labeling formulation. Label of our preparation should be such as, at the top we should mention the name of our preparation and its formula, where we taken IP, BP, USP. We taken the formula from IP, that's why we written the name Atropine Sulphate Eye Ointment IP. Then weight and quantity of our ingredient which mention on the right hand side, upper side, that is 10 gram. Then we should mention the each 10 gram content, or we also mention the each 1 gram also. Here we mention the 10 gram atropine sulphate IP 0.1 gram sterile eye ointment base QS, that is quantity sufficient. Its category is parasympatholytic or anticholinergic. Then warning, not for the ingestion, for external use only. If irritation persists or increase, discontinue the use and consult the physician. Do not touch tip of the dropper or our tube, as it may contaminate the content. Use the preparation within the 4 weeks after opening the container. Storage condition, store in a cool and place protected from the light. Then manufacturing details such as manufacturing license number, manufacturing batch number, manufacturing date, expiry date and maximum retail price. And at the bottom we should mention the name and address of the manufacturer. Then we move toward the result. Result should be written as 10 gram of atropine sulphate eye ointment IP is submitted in a well closed container with the neat label. Then we move toward the question answer session. The first question is, why white soap paraffin is not used in the preparation of the eye ointment base? Yellow soap paraffin is used because it is unbleached, it do not cause irritation to the eye. White soap paraffin is bleach one, it should contain the bleaching agent. Then next is state the role of the liquid paraffin and wool fat in the eye ointment base. They are used as a base and has a proper consistency. They should not be very hard and do not irritate the eye. They give proper irrigation or proper moisturization to the eye. That's why they are used. Then the next question is, state the aseptic techniques used in the preparation of the atropine sulphate eye ointment. These are the filter hot mixture through the coarse filter paper, place in a heated funnel. Then sterilize the base by heating 150 degrees Celsius for 2 hours in a hot air oven. Then prepare a sterile solution of atropine sulphate in a smallest quantity of water for injection. Then triturate the solution with the melted base of eye ointment by using sterile mortar and pestle. These are sterilized by using the laminar air flow in the aseptic area. All these are aseptic preparation or aseptic techniques used in the preparation of atropine sulphate eye ointment. And then the next question is, Why preservative is not added in the atropine sulfate eye ointment? Atropine eye ointment contains the sterile eye ointment base. Here we use the sterile eye ointment base. So there is no need of preservatives to add in the atropine sulfate eye ointment. Then the next question is, state the sterilization process of eye ointment base. Sterile the base by heating at the 150 degrees Celsius for 2 hours in a hot air oven. This is sterilization process for ointment base. Then state the category of atropine sulfate eye ointment. The category is parasympatholytic, or it should also known as the anticholinergic drug. Parasympatholytic means these are which block the effect of the parasympathetic system. State the method of preparation of atropine sulfate ointment IP. This is the general procedure, that is we should also seen in the this experiment in the stepwise procedure, that is melt together wool, fat, yellow soft paraffin and liquid paraffin, filter the hot mixture through and passes through the coarse filter paper, place in a heated funnel, then sterilize base by heating 150 degrees Celsius for 2 hours in a hot air oven. Then prepare sterile solution of atropine sulfate in a smallest quantity of water for injection and triturate the melted base of eye ointment using the mortar and pestle, which are aseptic, make aseptically by using laminar airflow. Then wet the empty sterile ointment tube. Fill the atropine sulfate ointment in the tube by using the spatula. After filling, do crimping of the tube to then end. Thank you very much for attending my practical session.